anyone that has the capacity to fight you is a huge red flag. Fighting is not normal in marriage, even in relationships. It's okay to disagree, but disagreements should not escalate into fights. And this what happens is that people, sometimes you've grown up in an environment where you've seen your parents fight a lot. And in your mind, you just think, well, people fight in marriages. But that's not the truth. People have disagreements in marriages, but they don't fight. Fighting is not normal. And if a person has the audacity, the balls to raise his or her hand and strike you, a full adult, and they do that, don't trivialize that. That's very bad. A lot of boundaries were broken in that setup. So you've got to understand that anybody that has the capacity to fight you, it's a red flag. You want out. I mean, that person needs some serious counseling, serious deliverance and therapy. So just know that, do not stand for that at all. The other point now is abuse. And abuse can be verbal, it can be emotional, it can be isolation, it can be physical, it can be financial. Any form of abuse, you've got to not accommodate abuse, where you are with a person who verbally abuses you, where your parents have never called you stupid, idiot. How can you, just spoken to you down like that? They've never. Now you're with this person and they're talking to you like that. I mean, that's not okay. That's just not okay. So be very, very sensitive to abuse. If you run into abuse, you give a warning, you set a boundary. If they violate that boundary once, you get out. It's like gone. Because if you set a boundary and say, well, if you hit me, I will go. And then they hit you and you don't go. Do you know what you've done? You've authorized them to continue to hit you and beat you at will because you never did what you said you would do. So with boundaries, you've got to set your boundaries. You've got to communicate your boundaries. You must enforce your boundaries. Don't threaten something that you don't plan to do. Whatever it is that you threaten that, well, if you do this to me, I'll do this. Make sure that you do it. Are we good? If you meet a person that's overly aggressive towards other people, even though it's not yet turned to you, know this: whatever you see a person doing to others, but they're doing something different to you, know this. Eventually, what you see them doing to others, they're going to do to you. So never stick for, well, this person is aggressive and very rude to people on the outside, but while they're still cutting you, they are nice. So you feel, well, I mean, the guy's a nice guy. No, he or she is only doing what they're doing because you're in this stage of the relationship. When things are settled and everything, whatever you see them doing to others, are going to do to you. That's why it's good that when you're the person and they're nice to people, they're just nice to people, they're nice to other people, that's a good sign. Because if they're nice to other people just randomly, then they're going to continue to be nice to you, all the time. But if they're nice to you, but nasty to other people, nice to you, nasty to other people, eventually the nastiness will come home and rest. And it won't be funny. I hope you're hearing something about red flags. I hope we are getting wiser. Like, marriage is knowledge driven, it's not love driven. It's about knowing what needs to be known to make it successful. Love on its own could never sustain a marriage, because even though you love them, you will hurt each other. And when the pain gets too much, you break. So that love could not hold it. But if you had the right knowledge and the love, then you will know what to do and not to do. And you know how to not hurt yourselves and to just keep moving in a loving and calm and peaceful way. Something that's interesting, that may not sound like a red flag, but is a person needs to know that the sexes are different. If you're a man, you need to know that women are different. Their needs are different. You handle them different. Okay. And women need to know that men are different. Men don't need a lot of emotional support. They don't need a lot of talking. If you treat your wife that way, and the men that just say, well, why does she want to talk so much? Why does she want to talk at night? Why does she go back to issues all the time? But that's because she's a woman, and the way her brain is wired, she needs things resolved. She unwinds verbally, and she needs you to listen agreeably. She doesn't need you to counter and bring solutions or just disagree with what she's saying when she's trying to unwind, because that's just going to wind her up more. But many men don't know this. Same thing with women, where you can't treat your man like a woman. Women are more cooperative in their attitude. They work together. Men don't work together like that. So don't force him. If he's not accepting your help, let him go. Let him just try and do his thing, and you compliment him when he's done. So it's very important that you marry that you're the person that, one, is self-aware and is aware of the differences between men and women. Men and women are not the same. If you treat us the same, you're going to have a rough time. I will do a teaching on this later, but this is a big topic actually. Taking offense quickly is a red flag. There are people who, they just take offense quickly. They're very sensitive. You say, before you say anything, they're angry, they're upset, they are giving you silent treatment, they are already pulling face, just over little things. Now, a marriage is for a lifetime. There's going to be all sorts of things going on. And if you guys can't remain calm and just nice for a very long time, the marriage is going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. And you don't want that. Somebody says, should I marry a lady who constantly reminds me that she is 7 years older than me? She's a single mom of 2 and not willing to carry my own child. Okay, but bringing options of surrogacy. So she's 7 years older, always reminding you. Now, the thing there is that you should be very careful with that, because when there's differences in age, the older person has got to be young at heart and hold their position in the marriage. So in this case, she shouldn't be See, if she's reminding you that she's older than you, then she's trying to lead you. She's trying to be in control, and she's using her age and experience to control you. But that can't work in marriage. She's a wife, and you are the man. You lead. And if she feels you don't have the capacity to lead her, then she should leave you alone, or you should leave her alone and find somebody that you can lead, or that's willing to be led by you. Okay, this is very important. Don't get yourself in an unnecessarily tight spot for whatever reason. That's my advice right there. People that take offense quickly end up having a turbulent marriage. I can tell you right there where it's turbulent, because you're spending half the time begging them, and that's just not okay. Okay. There are some people that when you offend them, they are slow to bounce back after offense. Even to be quite frank, while you're dating somebody, you've got to look for an opportunity to offend them, which is very interesting. Yeah, because if you marry a person that you've never offended before, that's dangerous, because after you marry them and you offend them and you see the way they respond, it could be the end of that marriage. So as a rule, look for some style and off. See, like there's some things you do consciously in the marriage. When you're dating, one, offend them on purpose, and then figure out how they take. If they're cool, they're cool. If they communicate about it, it's okay, and they calm down, it's good. But if they give you silent treatment, beat you up, cut you off, do wicked things to you because you offended them, then that's the way they resolve conflicts. And if that's the way they resolve conflicts, then get away from them, because you're definitely going to have conflicts in marriage. You just get that. So make sure that you the other thing too is you must find a way to just watch the person, and when they get something wrong, correct them. Say, that, darling, that thing you did, it can be done better, and just, do it respectfully, but correct them, because you want to know how they take correction, if you're able to talk to them and they'll take it, because that's a big thing in marriage. Communication. If they won't take correction, you are out. If they feel offended or they defend themselves, then they need counseling. So these things, there's some experiences you have to have with a person before you can say, I will marry you. If you haven't had those experiences and you marry them, by the time you get those experiences in marriage, it's going to be rough, because marriage is not easy to get out of. It's interesting. Marriage is actually easy to get into, but it's very hard to get out of. So you want to really be sure that things look promising before you step forward. Unforgiving. It's like living in hell, living with an unforgiving person, where we will offend ourselves. And after I've offended you, I will say sorry. I will repent. I will do whatever, but I expect you to be able to forgive completely and not bring it back all the time and put it away, and will continue like nothing happened. The ability of people to continue like nothing happened is really important. It's really important. And if that's not happening in marriage, then that is a big problem. So you must be really forgiving. Next point is wicked. You don't want to marry a wicked person. They may not be wicked to you yet, but if in their behavior they're wicked to people, wicked generally, they just do wicked things, and you've seen they do wicked things to other people, that's not good. That's not good. And changing a person from being wicked to being loving and nice is very difficult. There's a lot of deliverance and counseling and therapy going on. And so you want to be very, very careful. A lot of people don't really know what narcissism means. But narcissists have the same traits. They're textbooks. They're textbook people where they do exactly what the textbook says. They will love bomb you. They'll come at you and show you a lot of love. At the moment where you're really vulnerable and everything, they start to hurt you. They lie. They turn things around. They blame you for everything. And they will never just take responsibility for the hurt or harm that they're doing. And after you push back and you say you're leaving, you're going, they will come back again and love bomb you. They'll buy you flowers, buy you gifts, do a lot of things, and just bring you back in, because they want you to be in that position of vulnerability where they can really continue to hurt you. And it's a cycle of abuse. I don't have enough time to get into it here, but for sure, get online. There's more than enough information online. And the craziest thing about this thing is when you meet a narcissist, they are textbook meaning exactly what the book says they do is what they do, and in the same format. It's like in the same order that it says, well, they'll do this, then they'll do this, they'll do this. They do it exactly like that. So they're easy to find to. The other thing is that sometimes when they love bomb you, you focus on what they're doing, and they're two-faced. They are always nice people on the outside, but on the inside, they are demonic, and they hide it really good. People outside would never believe that this person could be so crazy or so mean or nasty, but they are, because they have two faces all the time. So don't follow a narcissist. Don't follow a wicked person. Lying. Do not, don't trivialize lying. A person who lies is showing very low values. And when people have low values, they do very low things. Cheating, infidelity is coming from low values. Lying is a symptom of low values. Just many, many things. So if you see a person who lied and you say, okay, this is the truth, and say, okay, I'm sorry, it's okay. But if there seems to be a trend of not saying the truth, then obviously that's a problem and it's a red flag. If you don't go marry somebody that lies a lot, your marriage cannot be okay. There are cases where the man has 2-3 children and you don't even know. Then you get, just before the marriage, and I say, yes, actually I have 2-3 children. If you're able to keep that much away from me before the wedding, then what else are you keeping away from me? So don't trivialize lying. Lying just reflects the quality of the person. And if you marry a low quality person, you're going to struggle with things that you shouldn't really have to struggle with. It's like, this is really funny. Lady met a guy and she knows that this guy is a 419 person. Okay. And then she follows him and marries him. Then later on, he cheats on her and just really cheats her really bad and takes off. And then she's crying. I'm saying, well, why are you crying? If his livelihood was based on cheating people and you knew, then you decided to follow him. So why are you shocked that he's cheating you now? You just got to get that. Like, don't disconnect what people are doing with what they will do with you. Whatever it is that they're doing elsewhere, eventually they're going to do it to you. I think that's a recurring decimal. Let us know that here. Conditional love is a red flag, which means that I love you if you do this. But if you don't do this, then I can't love you. Big red flag. Or I don't really love the version of you that you are right now, but there's a version of you that I can imagine that when you become that version of you, I want to love you for the rest of your life. Okay? Now that's a red flag because he's not loving you for who you are today. So insist on it. If you can't see, I will try to change, and that is good. but I can't guarantee you the change that you want. So if you can't love me for who I am today, then we have a problem. Because the whole idea is that you love me for who I am today, and then as I get better, your love gets more because I'm moving to the zone of someone that you really won't love more. But you've got to your ground zero is that you love me for who I am today, and that's your ground zero, and that is important. Are we good? So no conditional love. If you find a person with an independent spirit, you really want to be careful because they say they want to get married, but they don't want to be with anybody. So they are protecting and defending their space. They want their space. They want their space. There are times when they don't want to be with you, anybody else. They just want their space, their space, their space. Be careful of people like this because eventually they're just going to want their space only and you're going to be on the outside. So the whole idea of marriage is for two people to become one. And marriage is a test of your ability of two people to become one. So how do we become one when you are so protective of your space? I can't come into your space emotionally. I can't come into your space physically because that's who you are. And that's one thing too. Anybody that has this is who I am mentality, do not marry them. And you're going to ask me why. Anybody that says this is who I am means that they do not plan to improve. They don't plan to change. They don't plan to do anything to bring out a better version of themselves. And if right now in their ignorance they're causing you pain because that's who they claim they are and cannot change, they're going to cause you pain for the rest of their lives. And this is not a good thing. So be sure that whoever that you meet is a person who is open to change, open to be educated, open to growth. Very important. I mean, if you end up with a person that's like the Dead Sea, where, you just like nothing's going out, nothing's coming in, it's just Dead Sea. That is terrible. You don't want to do that. Are we good?